Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and every single time I leave my home and I throw on the radio, it doesn't seem to matter where I am. For instance, you know that I've been traveling all over for quite some time now, especially last year. We did the 2 trips back to D.C. We traveled to South Dakota and back. You know, the trips to Iowa, etc., East Coast. iHeartRadio is constantly advertising their podcasts on terrestrial radio, okay? And normally it's true crime stuff, etc., etc., but more and more with this narrative push, okay, for total control. That's what it really is. Everything is about shots. And not the long shot of a guy like me being able to reach an audience like you and try to, inform people for the better against what's really going on. No. Now we're talking boop, boop, boop. And some of the things I hear, now this is like, this just apparently came out. I want to show people this really quick. It says it was uploaded like 14 hours ago. And I got to admit, this is the first time I've heard it today. And it just really upset me. And it's like a 30-second cut of a 2.5-minute commercial you're going to hear here. But these things have so much money behind them. And I was so upset by what I heard. I thought that what I was going to do is I'm going to lead with that. And I'm going to let you get your questions and comments in about anything. Remember, there are certain things that we will only be able to discuss over at the Rockfin. So eventually I will break away from YouTube and go over to Rockfin fully. And that is another way to skip the line if you tip over at Rockfin, obviously, because we've been fully demonetized here now for quite some time. And you know how it goes. More things are being age restricted. Maybe we'll show you some of those. We have like another 6 videos that got age restricted today that I only just looked at the title, okay, which was, odd enough as it is. Okay, so before we get there, guys, again, get the questions and comments in while you can. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Join the Burmis Brigade. We need everybody we can, and that's where we're over on YouTube. It is the largest platform to reach people, but what's been great, guys, even though it's been almost impossible to grow there, we've really grown here. Let's see what we got. We haven't checked it since earlier's broadcast, so let's see what we got here. Have we hit 30,000 yet? Not quite yet. We are still just about 200 people shy. So again, make that free account. Come on over. And there's so many exclusives over there right now. For instance, right now for free, come join the Burmis Brigade. Barry Jennings' full uncut interview and his news footage. It's right there. It's up there. Everybody can see it. It's now been age restricted on YouTube. And if you do get the premium account, you get all the premium stuff on Rockfin. So many people coming on over. I know they just got Blumenthal and the Gray Zone. Obviously, Jimmy Dore's over here. So, there's people on, I guess, both sides of what I think is a false left paradigm that are still gravitating towards those things. The people like Kim Iverson, I guess, on the right, etc. But they're giving people like me a voice as well. And I think that's extremely important. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order to Find, and Shade the Motion Picture. They're all my documentaries. They're free on all these platforms. And Invisible Empire you can see in super high quality right now, over at the Rockfin. We just recently uploaded it. Really easy to find. And I would encourage people to check that out so you can understand politically where I'm really coming from. All right, let's get into it. Let's play this clip. Now, remember, iHeartRadio obviously has like an international, not just a national reach. This is the technopoly. This is propaganda like 8.0. We're long past 1.0 and 2.0 and 3.0. I mean, we're it. Like we're encompassed by it all the time, blaring at us. So let's hear it.
Ever since coronavirus became the biggest story in the world, vaccines have been our greatest hope to stop it.
Okay. So let's just stop right there. The induction of this says as soon as this thing was a thing, no, that was a talking point. I mean, it is true they never talked about exercise and immune system, the vitamin studies. We know there are certain things we can't even talk on YouTube. But just think about the first statement. And I believe that is really the first statement that comes out in even the shorter version of this. So let's just continue.
I just felt like everything was closed off. And so it's like, what can I do to get everything to return back to normal as soon as possible? Because I felt just so hopeless.
Now, this plays on the psychological warfare aspect of this whole thing. Think about that. I felt hopeless. I'll do anything they say, basically. So in this, there's going to be like a lot of revelation of the method. I mean, there's even a point in here where the guy literally says that when they're not successful, that is still progress. And you got to understand, when they're not successful, there is harm to human beings, and there has been. But that will be downplayed. It will be portrayed as necessary. And you got to think about this. This woman's talking about whatever she can do to get everything back to normal. Well, they're telling you now, when I say they, the CDC is recommending all people in schools are wearing these things. Is it normal what's going on in New York City now with the key to the city pass that's coming in? I mean, none of that seems normal to me at all.
The coronavirus vaccines were produced in record time, but they're not slapdash overnight inventions.
Now let's stop there. There has never been a successful quote unquote common cold. Let's say that. When we say that, that's what, when we're talking about just regular coronaviruses are. Boop boop. There's never been. It just doesn't exist. That is acknowledged science. When you look at the prior flu season with H1N1, which was actually influenza B and then influenza A, we should bring it up right now. What the success rate on the boop boop for just that, not any COVID stuff, but just the flu, which again isn't not a coronavirus. Okay, I want to make that clear. What is the flu? It's an influenza, correct? I mean, I'm not brilliant by any means. And again, get the questions and comments in, guys, and we will eventually go over to you. Now's the time. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share if you're not a member of the Burmese Brigade. But let's see. We'll type in boop boop efficacy flu 2019 2020. That was CDC. There it is right here. So you can look at it. So specifically, it said it was 50% effective against influenza B and 37% against A. Wow, they're not, and now they're saying A was H1N1. Maybe I misspoke there. Although I thought I didn't realize that. So there you go. Okay, so throughout the history of shots, right, that's how successful they are. I mean, the things that are already being spoken by this guy are extremely upsetting. And remember, the promo behind it is amazing. Like this has a multi-million, if not tens of million promotion.
They're a culmination of centuries of research and advances. To figure out how they began, you have to probe history, myths, and legends.
Legends! Oh, history, myths, and legends. Ooh.
1,000 years ago, the son of a local governor got very sick from smallpox.
This sickness, as caused by inoculation, is not unto death.
Human history has been shaped by plagues, pandemics, viruses, and diseases.
I mean, again, human history has been, it's human history. It's about as broad as it gets. And the fear that they put in here, and then they have the actors and the music. I hope that you guys appreciate more like, a raw experience, a real experience.
And the fight against them. Today, they are in combat more than ever.
More than ever. We need them more than ever. Combat. Think about the terminologies that have been used around all of this stuff. Strike force. Combat. Mission.
My name is Sean Raviv. I'm a journalist, and I'm hosting a podcast called Long Shot.
And when I look down a little bit, by the way, Sean Raviv, it looks like he's part of like the Food That Built America, right? And that's all over the History Channel. I watch that sometimes late night. You know what I mean? So this is going to be highly, highly produced. And they'll be slick about it because I'm telling you, there will be some omissions, but that'll all be downplayed. And then, like, you know, these other people, heroes, you know?
The 250-year journey to the COVID-19 vaccines. We're going to take you deep into the science and the people behind the coronavirus vaccines.
They're going deep. And we'll see how diggity deep they got, because I got my eye on you, Ravivs, or what is it? But all I know, it's the long shot. You know, the Bernaysian way this has been sold, the long shot, pandemic of the unvaccinated. 2 weeks to stop the spread, alone together. You know, and it boggles my mind, man.
And learn how the fight against disease influences our daily lives. We'll learn about the incentives, experiments, and accidents that drove vaccine development. And the long
accidents. Yeah. Oh, we'll get into that too. A little bit.
Shadow of vaccine fears. And we'll talk with people who study viruses that evolved along with our species.
Much like a transformer going from a car to a robot, parts of the protein just start moving and refolding.
You're really just asking the immune system to do what it does on a regular basis.
So now I'm going to stop right here. Another question that I'm going to have about this is that is biological warfare at all going to be discussed? Or are we going to act like children and think that viruses have never been manipulated and then used against populaces that are human beings? That's what I'd like to know. Is it going to be more of, it seems that way to me, and a couple of the lines that are coming up here in the last 45 seconds are really disturbing.
There's some sacrifices you're going to have to make, and there are some trials you're going to have to go through, and failures that might have to happen, but failure is always progress in a certain sense.
Sacrifices for progress! That sounds like a great idea, right? Sacrifices for progress. Oh.
And we'll meet some of the great minds behind the global effort to get us out of this pandemic.
Yeah, I think it might be the defining point of my career. I think I'll always be remembered for this, but I mean, I wish I wasn't. I honestly wish I wasn't. I wish it never happened.
Yeah, don't we all wish it never happened, buddy? It's gonna, and you know, the truth is that if you're gonna be interviewed for this, how much truth are you gonna be allowed to tell? That's my next question too. How dare I? We got a Rockfin here. Kat Marie says, not sure if you heard about this amazing win in Alberta. They are treating, okay. I probably can't read this here. So I'll tell you what, Kat, I will read this as soon as I am off of YouTube. I will not forget because I'm sure we're going to get more Tipskis and Hutch over here, but I can't read this. This video is at Rumble, and it's called Freedom Fighter Court Victory with a explanation that says ends. And I guess it's a guy named Patrick King, so it's something that I will have to check out later, too. We'll see. We'll see what they say. Again, I got to watch that. We got to be careful, but I appreciate the support. Obviously, thank you so much. Let's continue here, because here's where it really gets, someone goes, these things are just like the best thing since breakfast. I mean, I don't even know how we got along before this. And he goes, he's waiting for the other shoe to drop. Okay?
Keep waiting for the other shoe to drop on these vaccines, and it hasn't happened.
So join me as I explore the 250-year journey to the COVID-19 vaccines. From iHeartRadio and School of Humans, this is Long Shot.
Isn't that great? And that's what I hear on the radio constantly. That's what's being promoted constantly. All right, guys, thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. I'm going to get into the questions and comments. And look, if we can't talk about it here, we can't talk about it here. And that's why we're going to bring it over to the Rockfin eventually. Make sure you get it. You should have Dr. Kent Hovind on your podcast. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be against something like that. You know, I've certainly watched some of Kent Hovind's lectures over the years as I watch and listen to everything. And I try to have my own discernment. Let's see. What's up, Jay? Hey. Is Rand a gatekeeper? Seems like it. You know, there's a good Rand video out there today that I have not played yet. Let's see if we should do that. See, like all this gatekeeper. Look, man, I'm not in everybody's boots. I gotta tell you that first off. So that's one thing. I can't tell you what's in somebody else's head and heart. Okay, but let's do it and let's bring it over here. Let's play some Rand Paul, okay? That's what we should do.
The left's obsession with masking America has hit an all-new high. NIH Director Francis Collins now wants parents to mask up in front of their own kids inside their own homes.
So, yeah, you do need to think about it, and that's the reason why the recommendations are for kids under 12, that they avoid being in places where they might get infected, which means recommendations of mask wearing in schools, and that at home, this of unvaccinated kids should be thoughtful about this, and the recommendation is to wear masks there as well.
So let me just stop you here. This maniac just told you that you need to wear masks around your children in your own home. And again, I don't understand why anyone is giving these people any credence, and criminal charges are not being brought against them, and we're not demanding our local governments no longer support them at all under any circumstance whatsoever. Okay? So let's continue with this piece because Rand Paul weighs in on it because he'll backtrack it. You know he's going to backtrack it.
Follow up. I know that's uncomfortable. I know it seems weird, but it is the best way to protect your kids.
Oh, it's uncomfortable and weird. Best way to protect your kids. Believe me. I have a mustache, and it's very prominent. Look at my very, very, very awesome suit and glass combo. I actually have a pin here that tells everybody that I'm smarter than most people. So you should listen to me. Weird, uncomfortable, yes, but I'm much smarter than you.
After a full day of outrage over this positively ridiculous recommendation, Collins tried to walk his comments back, tweeting, "Let me clarify the masking message that I garbled on New Day this morning. Vaccinated parents who live in communities with high COVID transmission rates should mask when out in public indoor settings to minimize risks to their unvaccinated kids. No need to mask at home." Joining me now to react, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Senator, thanks so much for joining me. You know, Francis Collins is a very smart guy. He helped map the human genome, for crying out loud. But when he says things like this, how can you not just lose faith in our medical establishment to give us good advice?
How can people who are so smart say such stupid things? There is no science to defend putting your kids in masks or parents wearing masks. No science whatsoever. If there were, we would be wearing masks for years and years because for kids, the death rate is about the same as the seasonal flu. It may be less than the seasonal flu. So is Francis Collins proposing that because the flu's with us forever, that parents should be wearing masks around their kids that have the flu? It is absolutely and utterly without scientific evidence.
You know what? I'm going to just stop it there because he might go a little too hard in the next few minutes. And I don't want to get the third strike on YouTube because of something that Rand Paul said. We will play it on the other side. We're going to continue to go to your questions and comments, however. That's how crazy YouTube is as a platform right now. Okay, let's see. We got some emojis there. There's a thumbs. There's some bread. Thank you. The boop boop. Boop boop. Donnie, how we doing, brother? If you're still watching, Donnie, I just want to give a big shout out to Donnie Semple. Donnie Semple is somebody that I grew up with as a kid in upstate New York, and I'm hoping that everything's going all right with you up there. I can only imagine. Again, they let you think that everything was going back to normal. I know that Montgomery County was one of the least booped counties out there. You ever thought about going back to InfoWars? No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to work for myself. I'm going to try to expand this thing. Look, would I put myself, out there, like maybe if they wanted to do like something very limited and, carry something of mine? Sure, great. I'm all for that. But would I go work for anybody else ever again? Nope. No, I'm either gonna find my way or I'll start my own business somewhere else, and figure something out, because I will not be beholden to these authoritarian dictates that they try to, mask as local mandates and corporate mandates over my body. It's mine. No. JB, I wanted to ask you why you haven't been on the Union of the Unwanted. The last one were the inventors of mRNA gene therapy. There was conversations I didn't hear you cover because I was out of town. I was out in Des Moines, and I actually for those, again, they're kind of just tuning in, I found out that Limp Bizkit was playing after Fred Durst was trending over at Lollapalooza, the new Super Spreader event, even though, again, I don't even want to get into all the Johnny nonsense. But I saw that, and I'm like, wait, I live in the Midwest. Chicago's like 2.5 hours away from me, or 2. I still haven't been there since 2006. I've driven by and through, but, not been there. And I want to see if Limp Bizkit was playing. They were in Des Moines. I'd made the trip to Des Moines with Militich at least once, right? So I was like, I'm going to do this. And then I found out that R.A. the Rugged Man was playing that night because of my badass mod, Doom. Shout out to Doom. Thank you so much, brother. And I was like, I'm going to jump in. And I was lucky enough to go check a very intimate show over of R.A. the Rugged Man, which I had a great time. Took him and the crew, him and Afro over there as well. His cousin, manager, DJ. And I had a great breakfast conversation, too, on top of it. And then went to Limp Bizkit with my buddy Justin. Lived a little life, friend. And same thing. I was amongst thousands of people over at the Limp Bizkit show. So, good times, good times. It's like 1984. They give us fake good news, and this stuff is global. We get this in Australia, too. Yeah, it's global. It's on. It's on. Sick. Satanic hacks took out my studio computer today. Can no longer afford to be a creator in. Okay. Let's see. Rockfin. JB, I like that. Well, thank you, Bethany. Let's see what we got. The digital domain. Sorry, effing with my phone. Okay. Was Alex Jones correct when he announced we now have front row seats to Armageddon and the vax being the mark of the beast system? I'm not endorsing that viewpoint. When is the India media going to stop the talking and organizing rallies like the EU? Why can't there be a collaboration with AJ and others to attract masses? You're talking to the wrong guy. Like, why are you asking me that question? I don't know why more people have not at least stood up in their communities. Do you believe we are in a spiritual war? I do believe in the same sense that, Eisenhower warning us about the military-industrial complex in that spiritual warfare? Yes. In that sense, yes. I think our very humanity is at stake here. Absolutely. And next, they'll take down my channel for the 5th time. Seriously, these evil Fs can ES and D. They can ES and D! Oh, wow, there's a big jump. Didn't mean to do that. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share, guys, by the way. Let's see. There we go. Jason, you should make a new doco. They're long and involved. Don't you feel the millions of people that have died and gotten sick has any effect on your opinion about vaccine and certain restrictions? What are you talking about? Reynard Warf? What are you talking? I don't understand that question. What are you talking about? Like, that's an unclear question. Good evening. Patrick King won a case in Alberta, Canada. The chief medical officer of health has no material evidence. I don't even know that I can talk about those things here. Also, the media is not a media for the people. Very much so. Let's see. Since Adam and Eve. My boy, Donnie. Don't jab me, bro. When do you expect the EBS to start and the 8-hour vids to begin? What are you talking about? I get what? Don't stab me, brah. Waves of terror to create panic and division. Key to the smart cities, duh. Yeah, the Cuomo thing, yucks. Keys to the gun case, New York City. They'll take as many liberties as people. Exactly. You know, again, and if you listen to the beginning of that, I just want everything going back to normal. Yay. Great question, Goblin. I'm not going to read it. Where is it? Where did it go? Human Bluetooth nanotech carrier of the injections. Bow, 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 bow. I can't say that. Why are you trying to get me kicked off, Tap P? Don't you know? Better to suffer the slings and arrows now of the naysayers than their rage when the truth makes its way to the surface. And they're, I can't really, I can't really, I hear you. Let's see. To your knowledge, what is the best networking tool to get information when censorship shuts us down? Great question, Donnie. Great question. So, so many people are behind Signal. I'd say create dummy accounts on social media, at coffee shops. Okay, private message groups. Don't use them unless like they need to be activated. And then I would say probably if you were gonna keep with the smartphone routes, because they'll probably keep those up. And Lord knows how good they are, because again I don't know. But like the Graphene OS phone here, you know, that's it. Let's see. Let's bring down the that's what it comes with. That's it. Like almost no permissions, and then you can do whatever you want. I mean, there's other things you can load on it. But what you could do, that's another thing. If you get groups that are willing to get these kind of devices, you go and you buy year-long SIMs. Now, you said you're not going to really, like, for $25, like on eBay, $25, $30 programs, there's track phone programs where it's like 1,000 minutes, a certain number of texts, like 1,200 texts, and like 2 gigs of data. And, group text can happen with those phones. That's probably going to be your best bet because they're not going to take down the networks for the masses. And, they may try to get rid of the prepay stuff. Who knows? It's tough, man, right? Because once methods of communication are down in chaos, let's say grids from cyber attacks, what is the best method? Jones has those sat phones. I couldn't speak to them one way or the other because I've never used them. I just haven't, so I don't know. I know that you live in a more rural area. I'd say, obviously, neighbors, friends, and family. But if you need those big-time digital communications, that's what I would advise. Graphene OS phones, and then, go grab a SIM card for cash. Don't pay with your credit card. It can't be linked to you. Pop it in there, and it's the emergency group. And, you're not Pastor Donnie Semple. You're, I don't know, policeman Danny something. He's policeman Danny something. How about Danny Simmons? We'll go with that. You do realize that women's beach volleyball is on right now. Oh, Gordon. Fantastic. That's great. Best networking tools is in person using your mouth and body. Let's see. What I don't understand is why doctors aren't speaking up about not needing a boop if you've had it. Well, you know what? Rand talks about a court case right now that we'll talk about probably in another 10 minutes or so. We'll go only on the Rockfin so we can play the rest of that clip. Let's see. I'm positive I'm negative. Oh, but was told today I had it from an ER visit 2 weeks ago, even though they didn't test me. Feel free to watch my new video. It's only 3 minutes. Bipolar Truth. I mean, anybody can go check that out. Chaos Control, Panic Division. I think they should be able to wear whatever they want. I don't care. They're an Olympic athlete. Come on. Will you unblock me on Twitter? I think you may have thought I was a troll, but I didn't mean. I'm a fan, homie. I don't know, Dalton. I don't know. I don't know who you are on Twitter. I've blocked a lot of people over the years. Jason, please check out my channel and consider having a live chat with me on my content, the Anti-Federalist and such, Mr. Uncensored. Okay. Let's see. Have you seen some of the Union of the Unwanted? I've watched some of it. She has, I'm sure. Various reasons: fear of losing jobs, money, license, too brainwashed with Rockefellers, medical education. Oh, D Money Schultz, please unblock me. Oh, D Money Schultz, we'll see. Let's see. The masses will play a big part of the new normal. Someone said recently they assumed the average American IQ was body temperature. I think it's realistically room temperature. I don't know about that. Doctors aren't any more ethical or moral than the average person. Billionaire-funded bioweapons, gain-of-function clown labs are unsafe. Huh, how about that? Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk. LOL. Nice. Oh, you guys like that? I try to entertain every once in a while. I try to be upbeat about all this monstrosity, this mess. Probably be exposed when it's all out. Also, Pfizer's recent study stakes high 90% safety, efficacy, see peak prosperity for full breakdown questions. Listen, I just want to say this. The FDA is going to approve these things. They're going full bore. And someone told me it was full bore the other day. Oh, sorry about that. Full bore and not full board. And I've been saying full board for a very long time. With that being said, okay. Oh, what's this? We got this banned video thing in there. We got to get that out of there. See, we had Jones on last time, and we haven't gotten rid of that yet. Just do that, and that's gone. And now what we're going to look at is... Oh, it's not even the same. It's not even what I wanted. Not even what I wanted. There it is. Boom. How about that? How about that right there? We got it. Okay. Hi, Jason. I enjoy your podcast and hope you're having a great week. Thank you. By the way, guys, go make the free Rockfin account. Come on over to Rockfin because I'm about to end the broadcast on YouTube. And when we do that, I'm going to play the rest of that Rand Paul clip. I love you guys. The ways down to support me are below.